Good morning, all of you. Is my voice is audible? Yes. Yeah, is my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
So, तो आप लोग का जो मैंने कल देखा एक्चुअली जो सिलेबस में है, ठीक है, तो उसमें कुछ प्रिसाइज वे में लिख दिया हुआ, तो दैट इज नॉट क्लियर एट ऑल व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू व्हाट एक्चुअली इन सिलेबस. ओके, सो आपका जो सिलेबस को देखते हुए मैंने कुछ डिज़ाइन किया है मॉड्यूल वाइज. ओके, मॉड्यूल वाइज कुछ सिलेबस डिज़ाइन किया है, तो जो मैं आपको शेयर करूँगा. तो जो फर्स्ट मॉड्यूल हम लोग का रहेगा, that is something about Windows programming. So what we are having in our syllabus is we have to do the window programming while using Visual C++. Fine. And Visual C++ is your basically event-driven programming which is done by Visual Studio. Clear? आपका सिलेबस में क्या है? आपका सिलेबस में बेसिकली वॉट एवर द विंडो प्रोग्रामिंग, विंडोज डेस्कटॉप बेस्ड एप्लीकेशन प्रोग्रामिंग, जितने भी विंडोज डेस्कटॉप बेस्ड एप्लीकेशन प्रोग्रामिंग है, हम लोग को उसको परफॉर्म करना है. कैसे परफॉर्म करना है? while using Visual Studio C++. Okay, which is nothing but your event-driven programming. It is slightly different from the procedural and structural programming language. Fine. And regarding the, I also gone through the question papers. Okay, so there is some direct questions. We will cover that, and little bit of programming parts are there that we are going to cover. Fine. So what will be the entire topic that we are going to cover in our this course of visual programming are in module 1. Basically we discuss
पीछे छुप जाओ, पीछे पीछे.
just mute yourself, all of you.
नहीं, जहाँ अंकल सोते हैं.
Yeah. So in the module 1, okay, module 1, we will basically going to discuss all our related problems with the Windows programming, like how to create a window, how to create a pop-up message, what you mean by dialog box, what you mean by title box. Okay, so whatever you getting in the Windows, whenever you open any file or folder, whatever thing you're getting, okay, that we have to create. Okay, like painting the window, everything. So first module, entire module, so we will deal with these things. Okay, like what you mean by Windows environment, then what how to display a message in Windows, how to create a Windows and display the Windows message looping, all these things that we will going to discuss. Fine. Then module 2, okay, in module 2 we will be discussing something about Visual Studio C++. Okay, basically again the Visual Studio C++ programming or event-driven programming or event-based programming, where we learn how this event-driven programming or how the Visual Studio C++ are helpful for your designing Windows programming. Clear? Clear? So no need to write your name in chat box. I will share the QR code so that you can give your attendance there. Fine. Is it clear? No need to give the name in chat box for the attendance purpose. I will share the QR code. You can scan from that. That was later on I share in WhatsApp group. So in the second module, so basically we deal with the framework of Visual Studio, how to install it, and how we can perform different tasks or different events to create a different Windows program. Fine. Then module 3 is something we call the documentation architecture view. Okay, where we will use different functions and DDLs to create more advanced programming structure. Then module 4, the module 4 is very important again, where we are basically deal with OLE. OLE stand for object link and embedding. How basically now how the objects can be embedded. Okay, we will learn how the different objects can be embedded or input to the given dialog box or while creating the Windows box. Clear? Now this many of the questions. Now this module is very important. As I gone through your previous question papers, so at least two questions are asked from this module. Then module 5, the last module, where we actually this is not uh, there in your syllabus, but if time permits, then we will discuss the uh, advanced concept of that, how we can uh, further design or this Visual Studio Base, how can be applicable to the database design as well as your web designing and other purposes. Right? Clear? So let us start with the module 1. Okay. So hope this is clear, the entire course structure that we are going to discuss. Okay, with the entire course structure divided into 5 modules. So basically, we will deal with the 4 modules. If time permit, we will go for the 5th module. The first module is basically about the Windows programming. Whatever programming, desktop programming. Again, in Windows, we are just really talking about desktop programming. What desktop features Windows are providing and how to achieve that one. In the module 2, we will discuss about Visual Studio C++, okay, basic fundamentals of Visual Studio C++, and how this Visual Studio C++ can be helpful for designing purpose of Windows programming. Okay, then module 3, detailed documentation and architecture we discussed, and module 4 about something OL. So let us start with the module 1, okay, which is your first topic called Windows programming. Now textbook, now you can follow the standard 2 textbooks. Okay, for textbooks, we follow these 2 textbooks. One is from Charles. Okay, name of the book is Windows Programming. This is for your module 1. Okay, you can use this book for the module 1 or unit 1, where you can learn your different Windows programming methods. Fine. And for the module 3, or I can say for the unit yeah, for the unit 2 to 5, for the unit 2 to 5, you can refer to this book, okay, by David. Name of the book is Programming Visual C++. Programming for Visual C++. Okay, both are the Microsoft production or Microsoft Press released in 1996, version is 1999. So these are two standard books that you have to follow. Okay, don't go as for your syllabus. If you go as per the syllabus, they are recommended some book like programming book and some book for hardware that will not going to cover anything. ओके अगर आप आपका सिलेबस में देखोगे लेट मी शो यू द सिलेबस तो अगर हम लोग अपने हमारे गुलाम का जो सिलेबस दिया है अगर हम उसमें देखेंगे ओके तो आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हो ना एंटायर थिंग इज गिवन एंटायर सिलेबस गिवन इन ओनली 2 लाइन्स ओके एंड रेफरेंस बुक आपको क्या दिया है इंट्रोडक्शन टू कंप्यूटर प्रोग्रामिंग व्हिच इज नॉट फॉर द यूज then computer organization why I don't understand why Morris is recommended for this one then computer organizer amateur okay this is basically for the computer hardware purpose okay then one book is given so these are the books if you refer this book you will not get benefited but since these books are not even having some link with this entire topic ठीक है कहने का मतलब है इस बुक्स को फॉलो नहीं करना जो आपसे सजेस्ट किया हुआ है राइट तो कौन सा बुक फॉलो करना है फॉलो इसलिए मैंने आपका जो एंटायर सिलेबस है मैं आपका मॉड्यूल वाइज में डिवाइड कर दिया हूँ सो जो आपका सिलेबस है आई डिवाइड 5 मॉड्यूल्स जो फर्स्ट मॉड्यूल के लिए आपको कौन सा बुक प्रेफर करना है टू प्रेफर द बुक कॉल्ड विंडोज प्रोग्रामिंग पब्लिकेशन इज माइक्रोसॉफ्ट प्रेस फॉर द मॉड्यूल 4 to 5 आपको कौन सा बुक प्रेफर करना है प्रोग्रामिंग विद विजुअल सी प्लस प्लस प्रोग्रामिंग विद विजुअल सी प्लस प्लस ठीक है फॉर द रेफरेंस बुक यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज विजुअल सी प्लस प्लस 6 प्रोग्रामिंग ठीक है this book can be used for as a reference book. So note down these 3 books which you can refer for this course. Clear? Is it clear? So just note down these books. Okay. So let us start. So let us start with the unit 1. So we'll start with the unit 1, which is your Windows programming or introduction to Windows programming. So before starting with Windows programming, so you must understand what you mean by Windows. Now, what is Windows? Windows is nothing but it is a graphical user interface operating system developed by the Microsoft. Okay, like we say, what is Windows operating system? Okay, Windows operating system. So it is nothing but Windows operating system or Windows is nothing but it is a graphical user interface where user can interact with the system graphically. Okay, which is used as an operating system which is developed by Microsoft in earliest 1980s. Okay, we'll detail study we will see. Now each version of the window include graphical user interface as well as we are having a DOS mode, command mode. Okay, now whatever versions or whatever windows till now we are having, fine. So we are having GIU mode as well as the command mode with a desktop that allow user to view file and folders in a window. Now this point is very important. So what feature is providing? First of all, it is providing a graphical user interface GIU mode. Okay, or or it can be at DOS mode or command mode. Fine, command. So, so with this interface, what user can perform? Now, user can use desktop that allow them to view files and folders in a window. ठीक है, तो अगर अगर हम लोग देखते हैं डेस्कटॉप में काफी सारे आइकॉन्स रहते हैं, कोई भी अगर हम फोल्डर खोलते हैं, नाउ इट विल बी ओपन लाइक दैट. Now, what actually Windows is allowing to user now, these Windows are allowing user to access different files and folders within your desktop or within your system. ठीक है, so again हम लोग विंडोज प्रोग्रामिंग के स्पेसिफिक ही पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है, अगेन विजुअल सी प्लस प्लस में नाउ वी विल डिस्कस only about how to create this Windows programming. That means how to create a pop-up Windows for this file or folder or any application that we are using in your desktop. Is it clear this point? Now we will not discuss programming in terms of web, web designing or in terms of database designing or in terms of normal programming. Okay, so we will only discuss programming or using of Visual C++ to create Windows programming. That means whatever feature the Windows is providing, okay, in a desktop mode, how these features can be created. Fine, basic features that are provided are Windows are provided are using using the different files and folders in a Windows. Clear? Now, Windows has been mostly widely used operating system for the personal computers. So, at this point, you know, most of the systems or personal computers are basically using the Windows operating system. The reason behind that is it is much user friendly and it provides more interactive GIU mode, that is graphical user interface mode. Clear? Clear? So what do you mean Windows? Windows is nothing but it is the uh, graphical user interface operating system developed by Microsoft. Okay. So what features provide is it is basically use provide interface between the system and user so that whatever the desktop applications are there like files and folders can be accessed, and this is widely used in most of the different personal computers. So now you can see some history of the Windows or some versions of Windows. So basically Windows now in 90s basically in 90s we are designed the first, it is not the first window. The first window which is designed or first Microsoft OS which is designed by the IBM. Okay, IBM, which is known as Windows 1.0 version, earliest in the 90s, 80s. Okay, but from Windows 3.0, which is developed in 1990, it was that standard version where entire features are provided. Okay, now these are some features, or we can say from 1990s Windows 3.0, the Microsoft has launched its commercial Windows for uh, personal computers. Right. So these are some history or examples we can say. In 1990, Windows 3.0 is developed. Then 1992, Windows 3.1. In 95, Windows 95. Then in 98, Windows 98. And in 2001, Windows XP, which is very popular. Okay. So, and then Windows Vista in 1996. Then Windows 7. Now, then Windows 8 we are used in somewhere 2009. Then currently, basically, we are using Windows 10 and Windows 13. Currently, we are using Windows 10 and Windows 13. Now, these are some versions of the Windows which are designed by Microsoft throughout the year. Hope all of you, many of you may be using that Windows XP. Okay, if you remember, और विंडोज विस्ता भी आप लोग यूज किए होंगे hopefully Windows 7. All of you may use the Windows 7 before that. Now currently basically we are using Windows uh, 10 or Windows 13. And these are some history. So let us discuss in detail. So let us discuss in detail of this Windows when they are developed and what are the advantages and what are the drawbacks. Okay, why we are discussing now, you may get a question, yes, sir, why already you are familiar with them, why we are discussing. Because as like many of times they ask this question, what what do you mean by Windows? Okay, what do you mean by Windows? And discuss the different versions of Windows. Okay, that is the reason we are discussing here this question or this topic. Fine, even though you are already aware of these things, but still we are discussing because as it is part of your syllabus. ठीक है, क्योंकि आपको कई बार ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है यूनिवर्सिटी के एग्जाम में, क्या पूछता है, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय विंडोज, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय विंडोज और डिफाइन विंडो and what are the different versions of window, explain in detail. So when they ask the question, now you have to define with respect to these 3 points. With respect to this 3 point, that means what is actual window, what uh, application is provided, why it is used, and why it is very popular. Okay, then we can explain different versions along with the advantages and disadvantages that we are going to discuss in the next slide. So let us start the history of Windows. So if you start the history of Windows, so in earlier 1981, so first Windows-based PC is designed by the IBM. Okay, so IBM is the first organization to design an operating system based on Windows. Okay, so basically the operating system here is called MS-DOS, which is called Microsoft Disk Operating System. Okay, जो पीसी जो विंडोज डिजाइन किया गया आईबीएम के थ्रू, बिकॉज इज द फर्स्ट पीसी और फर्स्ट विंडो which is designed by the IBM. Fine. So what operating system we are using there? What operating system we are using there? What operating system are used there? So we are basically used uh, the OS uses MSOD, which is called Microsoft Disk Operating System. Now, uh, now this operating system has the very minimal features. Okay, uh, that is, it is basically command mode operating. We are not having a GIO code, and for the user, now you can see for the user it provide only command line interference. Okay, uh, the commands such as search the directory or type of the files or load the application program into the memory for the execution. That means there are limited number of instructions. Okay, कहने का मतलब है जो फर्स्ट आपका विंडोज बेस्ड ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम क्रिएट किया गया वो आपका क्रिएट किया गया आईबीएम ने क्रिएट किया 1981 में. फाइन. जो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम वहाँ यूज किया गया विच इज कॉल्ड माइक्रोसॉफ्ट डिस्क ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम. Okay, we call that operating system as Microsoft Disk Operating System, and which is having the minimum features. Okay, which is having minimum features. Next point you remember, it is a command line interference. That command line interference means now user can interact with the system only with the help of command. There is so for the user, so it will be providing command input. There is a no graphical user interference. That means the user cannot interact graphically. Then again, the commands are very limited here, like create directories or search for a type of files or load the application program into memory for the education or for the executing. Clear? So these are limited things we are having on that Windows PC, which is sorry IBM PC, which is designed in the year 1981. So next version of the Windows. So next version of Windows is designed by the Apple, which is known as Apple computers. So it is somewhere designed in January 1983. The operating system which is used is Visa, and which is have set of standard graphical format. So what happened here? So Apple has launched after IBM, which is launched in 1981. In 1983, Apple has launched the second version of the Windows, so which is have some advantage over the IBM PCs. What are the advantages in IBM PC? Basically, there is a graphical user interface, but in Apple PCs, somehow we have provided the graphical environment. That means we have provided graphical user interface. Fine. So these are advantages. Now, in mid or in the end of the 90s, 83s, the Microsoft launches its first version, or you can say it's announced the Microsoft Corporation in 1983, its first version of Windows. Fine. You can see now Windows 0.1, first version which is designed in, which is called Windows 0.1. Okay, the first version of Windows. Okay, now before that, IBM and Apple have designed no doubt, but Microsoft, which is designed the first version of Windows, which is known as Windows 0.1, which is in the year 1985, November 1985, or end of the year 1885, 1985. Now with several, so again now it has some advantages like it provide the graphical user interference along with the command line interference. Now it has several updates to support the international market. That means whatever requirement on that time. Okay, so whatever the requirement on that time. So that on that time there is a minimal requirement, like you have to for use the PCs are basically used for some calculation or computing purpose only. Okay, there is no, the PCs are not used for communication purpose. So we can say there is a limited uses of the computers. Okay, so whatever requirement for the international market, that is supported by your Windows version 0.1. Okay, with that some additional drivers. Okay, additional drivers for the video display and for printers. So what we have added here, so what benefits we are having here, Windows 0.1. So first of all, so whatever the market is needed on that time, basically for computation purpose, okay, basically for the computation purpose, so that are updated in Windows 0.1 version. Along with that, we are added some additional drivers, okay, drivers for playing some video files or displaying some video files, and for printers printing the document as an output. So these are the features which is not available in earlier version of, these are features which is not available in earlier version of what, your Windows, that is designed by the IBM or Apple. Fine, clear. Now one thing you remember while describing about the history of Windows, you have to एक बात याद रखना, whenever a new version of anything will come, now it must have some upgradation. ठीक है, now अगर जब भी आप एग्जाम में लिखोगे हिस्ट्री ऑफ विंडोज के बारे में, तो आपको याद रखना है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कब ये लॉन्च हुआ था, एंड what are the additional features is added to it. ठीक है, or how it is different from earlier version of Windows. तो ये चीज को आपको मेंशन करना बहुत जरूरी है. Clear? Clear this thing? Okay. Just wait for 1 minute. Let me save the attendance of this class. So today we are having 2 classes. Okay, yes or no? 2 classes. So both the class link I have already shared. For the attendance purpose, I will share the QR code. And also recommended all of you to install Visual Studio C++. Okay, so that while performing the program, you can also perform. Visual Studio C++ सबको इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा ताकि आप जब प्रोग्राम करेंगे सब लोग साथ में कर सके. It will be easier to understand. Okay, easier to understand once you install and start executing. The first attendance. So after the file, I will save the second attendance also. Okay, when we start the second class, then I will save the second attendance. So all of you just give your attendance. I am giving 1 minute time to all of you. Yeah, just I share attendance in the WhatsApp group. I think all of you are enrolled. Enrolled. All enrolled. Okay. Yes. So just give your attendance for first class. Yeah. So just give the attendance which I shared in a WhatsApp group. So let us continue. Uh, so this is the first version of Windows, which is designed in the year 1985. So what are the advantages here? So according to the market requirement, some updates are made. Basically, the computational requirement. Okay, so and uh, apart from that, some additional drivers are added for video displaying and for the printing the document. Fine. So these are the advantages of Windows 0.1 over the IBM PC, which is developed in 1981, and the Apple, which is developed in 1983. So, so next version of Windows is Windows 2.0. Okay, Windows 2.0, which is designed in the year 1987. Okay, so what are the advantages over here? Now there are several changes in user interference. So what happened here? Now there are some changes in terms of how the user can interact with the system. That is called the user interference. User interference means how users are basically interacting with the system. Fine. So initially, what they are there? They are basically a command line interference which the user is preferring. Okay, but what happening? It is somehow it is time taking. Okay, so you have to remember all the commands. Suppose you want to open a file, you have to remember the command. Suppose you want to copy that files for a particular location. Again, you have to remember that command. So it is somehow hectic. So what actually happened here? The user interference are updated. Now there is something about uh, or we can say some new interference, something called GIU or graphical user interference, or directly that can be interacted to the system. Then it also enhances the keyboard and mouse interference. Okay, in Windows 2.0, so it is added some additional drivers. Okay, it added some additional drivers to accessing the keyboard and the mouse. Okay, for basically it is particular for the uh, designing of menu and dialog boxes. So what happened whenever you go design the Windows programming or whatever window you're designing, suppose this is my window, open a window. So now when you open a window, you will always find a top of a menu box and dialog box where you are having number of drop down buttons. Like if you remember there is the option of file, there is the option of view, is the option of edit. Now creating this one is very much easier. Creating this dialog boxes or this menu bars and dialog boxes are very much easier while using the help of keyboard and mouse. So what happened? The driver features. Okay, the driver features of using the keyboard and mouse are introduced in Windows 2.0 version so that it can be helpful for designing of Windows programming or Windows pop-up box for menu and dialog boxes. Clear? So you have to write when you are going to explain Windows 2.0. You have to make sure you have to add these features. So it is added additional user interference, okay, or several changes in the user interference. Along with that, it provided some enhancement in drivers for the use of keyboard and mouse so that it will be helpful for designing of menu bars and dialog boxes. Clear? So let's move to the next version, which is your Windows 3.0. Windows 3.0. Yeah. So, yeah. Windows 2.0. So this is continuation of Windows 2.0 actually. So where we are describe something about what microprocessor basically the processor used in the Windows 2.0 or hardware feature that is supported are Intel 8086 or 8088 microprocessor. Okay, with the limited memory, which is about 1 MB of memory to accessible. Now you can see the hardware features are very much minimal for the Windows 2.0. Okay, now now after that we have designed something called Windows 386, which is which is released shortly after Windows 2.0. Okay, it is used for virtual 86 mode for the Intel. Now this is specific for this microprocessor. Okay, Windows 386 are basically designed specifically for the this microprocessor, which is called Intel 386 microprocessor. Okay, now if you remember this one, Windows 386. are special windows designed for the particularly this microprocessor, which is called Intel 386 microprocessor. Okay, now which is having